Back with another episode of Local Roots. Hi, I'm Todd Studer. Big thank you again to everyone who took part in Good Neighbor Day in Council Bluffs yesterday. Just a record speed of handing out 10,000 flowers. They had it done in about an hour. And the line was long and quick and effective, and everyone was happy. And it was just a wonderful time. So thanks to all the sponsors. There was over 80 sponsors that Elisa got signed up to be able to help with this year. So again, thank you to everyone. And thank you to Elisa Roth for not only allowing us to be there, but also for conducting it and doing such a wonderful job. This was her 20th year of holding Good Neighbor Days. So congratulations and a job well done. Today's show is going to be about real estate, and we're going to learn a little bit more about the current state of the market and what's happening in the Midwest, how it compares to what's happening nationally. And you might be surprised. We're going to learn more from Blake Hunter of Berkshire Hathaway, and he's going to fill us in on what's going on in our area with real estate. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, this is the episode that you want to watch. If you're looking for all natural health solutions in Southwest Iowa, Bambi's Green Acres Natural Market, located in Council Bluffs, is here to help. Shop a wide selection of vitamins, supplements, essential oils. You'd be surprised. She even has a spice section there. Get all natural spices right there at Bambi's. Find them at 805 South Main Street in Council Bluffs. Explore your wellness options online at bambisgreenacres.com. Bambi's Green Acres Natural Market, putting health in your hands. And Castle & Associates of American Family Insurance, your local insurance provider for all of your home, auto, life, business, and farm insurance needs. Locations in Council Bluffs and Trainer, also in Nebraska, in Bellevue and in Elkhorn. They are local and in your neighborhood, ready to help you navigate the complexities of insurance today. Travis and his team educate, advise, and simplify insurance, all to protect those things you cherish most. Give them a call for your free quote. Back with us this morning, it is Blake Hunter, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Good to see you again, sir. I know the real estate market up and down all around, and you're the guy that I go to anytime that I need an update. So how's everything been? Good Labor Day?
Good Labor Day. You know, it's crazy that the time seems to go faster and faster. And, you know, in real estate, you really got to look about 90 days ahead. So at this point in the year, you know, we're already talking about 2026 and thinking,
oh man,
you know, what's next year going to look like, and planning for that. But yeah, it's, you know, kids going back to school, all those kind of market related things. We see a little bit of a slowdown sometimes annually, but I think we're back to business as usual after Labor Day, and all the people trying to get things done before the end of the year.
Well, you said business as usual. What does usual mean? Because
That's a loose term.
Yeah, it's hard to get a grip on it, I think. I know that, well, you and I have talked about it before, going back several years when I sold my house, that I was thinking that the market was capped and I wanted to take advantage of it as far as value goes. I wasn't right. It kept going up. And we've kind of had a situation now to where no one's meeting their expectations with the market and everybody's unhappy, right?
Yeah, in a sense, you know, I have so many people in conversations, and I mean, anybody you talk to, they're really always trying to time the market when it comes to interest rates and all the moving parts that come with the transaction. And, you know, it's impossible to do. Sure, you can take advice and you can pay attention to what's going on, but I always tell people, you know, what are your needs? And let's work on those things, and we'll try to do what we can with the rest. Waiting a year to see if rates go down or prices go down, or, you know, every buyer out there is waiting for the market to, you know, quote unquote collapse. You could be waiting forever. And so let's talk about what you're trying to do and then how we can meet your needs.
I think that's a really good point, that oftentimes, like what I did, we're all gambling, and it's trying to hit the lottery with information that really can't be predicted all of that accurately.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all how you look at it, right? I mean, you have people right now, you know, you have sellers right now that are a little frustrated because they're not in the market that they saw maybe 2 to 3 years ago, where they were going to get multiple offers and get something, you know, some offer crazy above list price. But at the same time, if you look at the big picture, prices have still gone up since that point. So maybe you didn't capitalize at that time, but if you were going to turn around and buy something, you would have been in a ton of competition. So there's always some give and take. And I think you got to look at the big picture. And back to that, initial thought is, what are your needs and how are we going to solve that?
When you look at the way things are nationally versus the way they are locally, are they in line? Are they different? Where's that at?
They're very different. I mean, I think that there's always a trend in place where, you got to pay attention to what's going on nationally, because I think here in the Midwest, we do see that at some point, but we're not seeing it as fast as like maybe the coast. Right now, for example, is the Midwest and the Northeast are still starving for inventory. And so we don't see as much of the slowdown in those regions as we do like in the West and South. And so you talk to somebody that's in Florida and they're like, there's so many listings available. We can't even go look at all the properties that would fit our needs because there's so many of them. Where here in the Midwest and in the Northeast, there's still competition. There's still multiple offers on properties. So it's very different. And you're talking very different price points. You're talking just almost totally different markets. But I do think it's important that you are paying attention to what is going on around the country, because what's it going to look like for us in the next year or 2 years?
You and I have spoken before also about looking at the coast and seeing what is happening out there, and then will it make its way to the Midwest? And if I remember correctly, what you told me before, maybe, but that's not something that you can bank on. That, okay, we know what's happening here, so 3 years later, it's going to get to us.
Exactly. I mean, it could take a couple, not really small changes, but a couple changes in the market. I mean, I think, right now, if you're looking shopping and you're at a 6.5% interest rate, if all of a sudden rates start going down, significantly, when I say significantly, even 0.5%, I think if we saw a 5.99, it just brings all those buyers to the market. And all of a sudden you're back in competition, especially here in the Midwest. So sure, maybe things are slowing around in different regions, but a couple small changes for us could mean a completely different market.
I'm imagining back to 7, 8, 9 years ago in this area, that interest rate wasn't as big of a deal because we had a number of houses for sale that were under $100,000. Now, you find something like that, it's an investment property. You can't move into it.
You got to, where are the wheels at on it?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of interesting. One of the statistics I looked at for national statistics is that, and this isn't really a stat, but it's more of a thought, is that we're probably nationally in probably the least friendly sellers market since about 2016, 2017. So, here we are in this 10-year cycle again. And, especially talking West Coast, the South, where you have sellers that saw this huge growth at one point in prices and in availability, and just almost a complete cycle. And they're trying to hang on to that. And then you got to look at where we at today, not where were we at 3 years ago. I even get caught up sometimes in thinking that even in the Midwest, like 2021, 22, low interest rates, crazy market. That to me feels like 1 year ago, when it's not 1 year ago. It's longer than that. And I think, and I do this every day. So I can see how a seller, 2 years goes by and they're thinking, oh, the market should still be kind of like what it was, but it's completely different. And so it's constant change, and it's knowing, hey, boots on the ground, what's going on right now in my local market.
Yeah, I think that it's a psychological thing when you talk about that, because if someone starts thinking about maybe we should move, maybe we'll sell our house, and then they'll put it on the back burner for a couple of years and then revisit it, to them, that was a very short time period. But as you said, to you, you're doing it every day. So you see those changes every day. And it could have changed 3, 4, 5 times during
Yeah.
that time frame.
Yeah. And that's the thing too is, going back and looking at the big picture, like I mentioned earlier, is sure, we're in a different market. Maybe you're not going to get the traffic through your house that you thought you were going to get as far as showings go. And then as far as maybe multiple offers. But at the same time, even though the market has slowed down on the speed, your price is still probably increased 5 to 8% from where it was 2 years ago. So yeah, did your asset go up in value? Most definitely, if you've been taking care of it and doing all the right things. But maybe the process is going to look a little bit different than it did 2 years ago.
Does this apply to when you take a look around and start to extend a radius away from the Omaha Council Bluffs area? Does it apply to these other towns too? Because that's really within driving distance to be able to make it. So, what's happening in Council Bluffs and in Omaha, is that the same as what's happening in Trainer and in Oakland and in Underwood and different places like that?
I think it is. It's just as the scope gets narrower, so do the changes in a sense, if that makes sense. I think that you look at the national scope, the changes are bigger, they're more dramatic. As you narrow down, especially in our region in the Midwest, I think that those changes are not, it just doesn't swing as hard. I think one thing that happened through for being starved of inventory and having a lot of competition when it comes to buyers is that people started to expand their reach a little bit on what they were comfortable living with as far as commutes, communities. And so I think one thing, and we're still living in that today, is that people are willing to maybe commute 10 or 15 more minutes than they were um, uh, before, if they can find something that they want and it's more affordable. So I think you have that. You also have kind of on the other side of that is through COVID, we had so much remote work and people were open to, hey, I'm working from home. It doesn't matter if I'm here in town in Omaha or in Council Bluffs, or if I'm, in Avoca or Harlan or wherever, because I'm going to be working at my house. Now we're seeing more people return to the office. So I have seen some give and take of, hey, I can work remote. It doesn't really matter where I am. And then now people thinking, hey, maybe I do want to be a little bit closer to the metro. So maybe they're not going to go quite as far, but they're settling for, I can afford more this far out of town, and I'm comfortable making a little bit longer commute. So like I said, there's so many different moving parts and people's needs. You got to just figure out what's the best fit for you individually.
You've talked about the inventory. How much of a change in inventory needs to happen for a lot of this to be relaxed and folks to have more choices and maybe don't have to make an offer the same day that they see a house?
I think we're there now. I can't say that about every property, but definitely the pace of the market has slowed down where, if I'm going to go show a property to somebody a few years ago, it was like, you basically got to decide before we walk out the door if this is one that you're going to consider. Now there's a lot more flexibility with time. I'm seeing a lot more home sale contingencies where, people can write that into their purchase agreement that they have to sell their home in order to buy. And that was non-existent, for a while. Home inspections are back. I mean, that is kind of back to a normal real estate transaction, a quote unquote normal real estate transaction. But when you look at the big picture, we're still like 4 million homes short in the nation on demand. So even though these markets have cooled down, like I mentioned in the West and the South, if you put everybody together, we're still short. And then now you have builders facing the challenges of just the financing cost of being able to finance a build, buy a lot, whatever it might be. You have material costs that are still high. You have a lot more conversations on tariffs. how is that going to affect the build? And so it's left builders a little more hesitant on investing in builds, but at the same time, we're still short. So it depends on where you're at. Um, it's hard to give a very solid answer on anything because everything's different.
You also kind of touched on a point there that made me think about how everything that's happening in real estate is affecting so many more industries. Because you obviously dealing with real estate every day. You're talking with home inspectors very, very frequently, multiple times a week. Now, when inventory goes down, that means there's less homes to inspect. And then during what we'd had happen, that no one was getting home inspections done. Well, now you have an industry that potentially could be in free fall, and that being the home inspection industry. So you're going to get a lot of folks that would do that kind of work leaving the industry to go do something else. Termite inspections and all of these different things that were happening. Well, now that it's starting to turn around again, how fast can these industries fill back up again? Because I know with where it was, it had to decrease. There had to have been a lot of home inspectors that went to go find something else to do because there just wasn't any work.
Exactly. And there's, you know, not only is there less inventory, so there's, less homes on the market, but now we're in the place where we have less inventory. It's taking a little bit longer for these homes to sell. I just saw a statistic that pending sales, and once again, this is national, but pending sales have been down month over month, every month of 2025. So transactions are down, pending sales are down. And so it leaves all these people, not only real estate agents, but appraisers, mortgage lenders, your home inspectors, your radon installers, your termite people. It really branches out. And so, yeah, there was a time where, those people were having to, mortgage people leaving the industry was massive. It's just like real estate agents. When things start look really hot from the outside, you get a lot more people get their license and get involved. And then when things get harder and harder, you see people start leaving. And so now, for example, like locally, before you write into a contract, hey, I'm going to have my home inspection done within 5 business days of an accepted contract. That was pretty easy to do. You could get a home inspector, get them to the property because they're all looking for work within a few days. Now I'm writing in my contracts usually that I'm going to need a little more time because I may not be able to get an inspector that week. It may take another week for me to be able to get one of the companies that I like to use over to the property to be able to inspect it. So it's crazy how many little different things can change your whole process and how you write your offer. And you got to know those things going in because once you're in it, it's hard to go back and change it.
Is it a fast recovery with that as inventory goes up? And we know that it will. I mean, it's cyclical. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. That's what's going to happen. So is it a fast recovery in those industries that, okay, we have more houses for sale now, so they're going to come back quickly, or does that take time?
I think it takes time, like anything, but at the same time, it's just like real estate agents. It's just like mortgage people. It's like probably about any business is 90% of the business is being done by 10% of the people. And those people are your people that have stayed, they've endured, they're not the flighty, they've got into the business when it's good, they leave when it's bad. So you have your key players, I think, that always kind of keep things chugging along, but then their availability and their capacity is going to get reached when there's more available. So yeah, sure, it does take a little bit of time to get those people, to get some new players filled in, to get the people that have been in the business maybe to hire help. So yeah, it's going to take time, but I think that overall, your main people that have been doing the business can adjust and usually fill a lot of that need.
Well, a lot of great information again, Blake. Very grateful anytime that you come on to fill us in on what's happening because, while inventory may go up and down, people's need for homes is always there. So that's why need guys like you out there in the trenches doing the hard work to make sure
Yeah.
that everybody is getting done what needs to get done. BlakeHunter.homes is your website. By the way, I've been there. It's really cool. That's a
Thank
cool
you.
site.
Thank you.
I like it a lot.
I was going to leave you today with a little nugget too, Todd.
Yeah.
I don't want to share too much yet, but we're working on a really exciting project here in Southwest Iowa. Working on the project with some people that you work with a lot. And so really excited to bring that to community, and it's going to help a lot of the issues that we talked about today.
Well, I'll give you a pinky promise that I'm not going to reveal, because I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. So we'll wait for you to make that announcement.
Sounds good.
Or somebody else that's involved with it, because I know them too. All right. Blake, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Todd.
When you need precision metal fabrication done right, look no further than Foxco Fabrication in Council Bluffs. Custom welding, large-scale manufacturing, bringing your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. Industrial, commercial, or custom fabrication, you know they'll get the job done on time and built to last. Locally owned and proudly made right here in Southwest Iowa. If you have a leak, a clogged drain, or have a big remodel project happening, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs is ready to go to work with fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship. Locally owned and trusted, and they take pride in doing the job right the first time. Residential or commercial, big or small, when plumbing problems strike, call Waldstein Plumbing. Visit them online at waldsteinplumbing.com. That wraps up today's show. Thank you very much, Blake Hunter. His website, again, blakehunter.homes. If you'd like to learn a little bit more, he comes recommended by me. Sit down, talk with him, and you'll see why. Thank you so much for being a part of today's show. We'll be back again tomorrow. My name's Todd Studer. Have a great Thursday.